Welcome back to the Thunderfunking DotaCast. I'm Cranberry Thunderfunk, and this is Game 2 of a best of 5 between Quantic Gaming and RaTtLeSnAkE in the International 3 Wildcard match. This is determining who takes the last slot available in the International. Both teams, either one could take it at this point. Quantic was heavily favored coming into this. In fact, most people were predicting a 3-0 sweep from Quantic, which is pretty brutal to predict in a best of 5. Usually, almost any team can take one game in a best of 5. But RaTtLeSnAkE off the bat have taken game 1. Oh, there's a wisp in this game. Ooh. We'll see how this goes. RaTtLeSnAkE took game 1 with a very reliable draft, going with the tri-core of Shadow Fiend, Weaver, Dragon Knight. All of their cores doing pretty decently. lanm especially, I think he was probably the MVP of that game. Got his farm, almost never died. Lots of good Dragon Tails, ensuring the supports on Quantic did absolutely nothing. And overall, he's just had a huge impact that game, definitely demonstrating why Dragon Knight is so strongly favored by Eastern teams, because he's just such a reliable pick. He basically guarantees that your team just can't fall apart.
Quantic Gaming's turn to pick.
Ooh. So this is already looking to be a pretty interesting matchup. Quantic, they get the IO Chaos Knight, and we haven't seen this combo in quite a while, which is pretty weird to say, because every time Wisp was picked, we'd see Chaos Knight. But it seems that a lot of the Western teams have been branching out from the Wisp Chaos Knight, feeling more comfortable combining it with a number of other heroes that don't specifically combine with the Tether, but Chaos Knight really is the best for pairing with IO, because of how much he benefits from the attack speed. His ability to set up tether stuns with the Reality Rift, and then followed up with one of the longest, I think it is in fact the longest instant cast single target stun in the game. I'm pretty sure, I haven't actually thought about that before, but I believe that is the case. If Chaos Knight lands a 4-second Chaos Bolt, there's no other hero that does that much stun in a non-channeled spell, with the exception of maybe I don't know how long Beastmaster's stun lasts at max rank. Quite long, and it's pretty amazing to have that on a carry. Quantic go even further into the global positioning side of things with the Nature's Prophet. They're going to be all over the map. It's going to be a dangerous place for RaTtLeSnAkE to live. Nyx Assassin is a good support for dealing with the Chaos Knight Wisp. Spike Carapace can really mess with the flow that IO depends on to get into position and to chain stun. And Darkseer as well provides that surge and vacuum, helping a lot with the positioning. It's a Tidehunter! Yes! I haven't seen a Tidehunter in, God, it's got to be 9 months? This hero completely fell off the map. Just 100%. And some of it's for good reason, because of the rise of BKB carries, because of the popularity of Lifestealer, and to a lesser extent Juggernaut. Juggernaut really made a return in TI2 and afterwards. And he's pretty good versus Tidehunter, to say the least. Just does a lot of damage, doesn't rely on... There's nothing the Kraken Shell does against him that prevents him from killing Tidehunter or dealing all of his damage. And also he can just spin through the Ravage. That's the big reason. Rage, BKB, all that ignores Ravage, which is why we haven't seen a lot of Tidehunter. But I still think he's an amazing counter initiator, and a good Ravage is going to do a lot of work in this game. Ravage really is a great positioning tool, because it forces the enemy team to be constantly thinking about it whenever it's off cooldown. And I think it's really quite good versus Io and Chaos Knight. 2 strength heroes, not the greatest armor in the world. Gush will help a lot with the physical damage that RaTtLeSnAkE provides. And the AoE for RaTtLeSnAkE is really quite great. Another reason I think this is a fantastic pickup is that the solution to Io Chaos Knight is 5-man. You have to group up together. You have to, like, as soon as Io hits level 6, you've got to be right next to each other,
Quantic
making sure that as soon as the
turn to
relocate comes in, the teleport from Nature's Prophet, that you're ready to fight as a group. And Tidehunter loves to do that. And he doesn't have to be perfectly positioned to do it. He doesn't need farm to do it. He can do it as soon as he hits level 6. And I think Tidehunter is a fantastic pick this game. And I think it probably qualifies as a very creative pick, given how long it's been since we've seen Tidehunter. So, very exciting. I'm all sorts of jazzed about this Tidehunter pickup.
RaTtLeSnAke's turn to pick.
Quantic also pick up the Keeper of the Light, and I mean they're really stressing the global presence here. The recall is going to allow them to do some split pushing, to be wherever they need to be, to get with the team. I worry about it because of how squishy Keeper of the Light is, and I don't see him getting a lot of great illuminates off in this game, particularly versus Nyx Assassin. I don't think Keeper of the Light is maybe what they really needed. It does give him excellent pushing ability and anti-push. It's going to be hard for RaTtLeSnAkE to get a lot of pushing done this game if they don't gain an early advantage. But Nyx Assassin with the spike carapace, especially with the base strength nerf to Keeper of the Light, he really suffers from spike carapace. 2 illuminates can basically kill Keeper of the Light until he's able to get his strength up. And depending on how they build him, he may not have any of the room for that, especially with an Io on the team. Io is not a 5 position support, it's a 4. And will be taking priority over Keeper of the Light, unless Keeper of the Light's doing his own, is stacking in the jungle and illuminating those stacks. So, RaTtLeSnAkE rounds it out with a Bane, another really strong pick that I think is an excellent choice. Bane's great versus relocate ganks. Really good versus Chaos Knight, a natural BKB carrier. He's going to be picking that up as soon as he can, and Fiend's Grip helps with that quite a lot. Nightmare also useful, particularly versus Puck, who relies on being all over the fights, hard to lock down. But if you get the Nightmare off, gives your team time to get right on top of him, to position accordingly, and get the chain stun off. So I think it's a really strong draft from RaTtLeSnAkE. That said, we're still looking at the Io Chaos Knight combo, deadly combo, very powerful, and still have yet to see a Chinese team overcome Io in the hands of a Western team. So we'll see how it goes. It's gonna be another exciting game. We got a very different draft from game 1. On the dire side, we've got Quantic Gaming hoping to even this up in this best of 5. Sockshka is going to be on the Chaos Knight, joined by Silent on Io and goblak on that Keeper of the Light. Funzii will be playing that Puck mid, and fucking Mad is going to be on the Nature's Prophet. Looks to be headed towards the off lane. We'll see if he's able to challenge any stacks here. That's kind of the goal with the offlane Nature's Prophet these days, is you come down, you don't expect to get a lot of levels. It's really hard to pull the wave,
30 seconds to
the creep wave, but if you can do that, even better. But often just used to put the treants inside the camps and make sure that the neutrals don't spawn. So we'll see how he does. He's also a good offlaner because he's able to rotate into the jungle, but I imagine that goblak is going to be doing a lot of stacking in this game. On the Radiant side, Icy is going to be headed towards the top lane on Darkseer. Oh, he's picked up Iron Shell level 1. If Quantic knew that, and they also knew, if they knew that there's no one nearby, they could have gone for that kill. lanm is going to be on the Nyx Assassin mid. Not often that we see Nyx mid, but he is still a potent middle hero. And I think it's a good choice because getting that Vendetta up as soon as possible is going to help in dealing with the relocate, and it's going to make opportunities for RaTtLeSnAkE. And down in the bottom, we've got this defensive tri-lane. Sag is going to be on Bane. Low? Really? No, Kabu. Kabu! I didn't think Low was going to be on the support. Kabu on that Tide Hunter, and Low on the Gyrocopter. I don't have a lot of opinions on Gyrocopter in this game. I think the AoE will help with Nature's Prophet's Treants. But he's a great teamfight carry. Really good for 5-manning, and that's clearly what RaTtLeSnAkE wants to do a lot of this game. And they've definitely got the potential for it. Goblak is already starting to pull these camps, blast them down with Illuminate. Hits his level 2 early on. That's very important for Keeper of the Light. Level 2 is quite necessary for the Chakra Magic, so good for him. Icy choosing to abandon this top lane. Just going to do some jungling, which will be fine for him. Probably get more out of the jungle than he would in the offlane for the moment. It's been much more common recently for teams to be rotating in between the offlane and the jungle, particularly with heroes like Darkseer and Nature's Prophet. It's important for it's one of the problems of Darkseer in the offlane is level 1 is he needs the Ion Shell, but he also needs the Surge. And against the Wisp Chaos Knight, there's no way that he could survive that chain stun. So I think this is a wise decision, and it will help him out quite a lot. So because they killed the Treants fairly early on, RaTtLeSnAkE was able to get their pulls off and deny a full wave here. Only halfway towards level 2 here for fucking mad. So good work by the supports killing the Treants. I have to say, as much as I like the strategy of filling up the camps with the Treants, it's easily countered in that you can just kill the Treants. It's not so hard to do. There's invisibility here on Kabu, but I don't think that they can really kill funzii. Fuck is a hard hero to gank. And particularly with only a level 1 Impale. Oh, they're gonna go for it. Can they? He doesn't have mana for an orb. This could be First Blood. He pops the salve and finished off with one more swing from Kabu. I really didn't expect that to happen, but because of the lack of vision into the jungle for Quantic, they didn't know that Kabu. In fact, they don't have any vision of this bottom rune. I think given that fucking Mad checked the rune, he knew that the rune wasn't there, and they also had no vision of Tide Hunter. So perhaps funzii should have been a little more careful. Particularly saving mana for orb is the important part of it. That's why he died. Why I didn't think he would die is because Puck has both the phase shift as well as the orb to make it out, and shouldn't really be dying unless you're getting a little too greedy with your usage of your orb for the purposes of farming the wave. So the good news for Quantic is that they're getting their levels a little bit slow on Silent. I think should really be prioritizing the levels on him. He should at least be sitting next to Goblak and getting the experience from killing these neutral camps, because Goblak is almost level 4, which is great for 4 minutes into the game as a support. Sockshka pretty much left alone up in this top lane. He's level 5. Getting all the last hits he could ever ask for, as is Low. They're basically neck and neck with last hits, as it should be. These are unchallenged safe lanes. Sag is positioned very aggressively here. He's hoping fucking Mad will come back. Unlikely that he will for the time being. He really wants to get his farm up. It's unfortunate for, I think the one trouble for Quantic is that since fucking Mad was not able to get much of anything out of this bottom lane, he'll rotate into the jungle, and that removes some of the ability for Goblak to get any farm. One option that I think Quantic does have is that they can rotate bottom. Fucking Mad is rotated down here. They could catch Sag. Some intelligent positioning here. I really like his choice to go deeper rather than to... Ooh, first tower going down in favor of RaTtLeSnAkE. Wasn't expecting it to drop quite that fast, but with the 3 of them grouped up down here. Quantic not able to find Sag before that tower drops. Now that's down, not able to do much. Over in mid, lanm is doing a fantastic job versus funzii. Puck should have an advantage in this lane, but good use of spike carapace, using it every time that funzii tries to drop his orb, dealing a lot of harass that way, and forcing Puck to bottle crow. You don't really want to be doing that. Or shouldn't have to do that. Shouldn't be so reliant on it, is what I mean. So lanm is 23-2 versus funzii's 29-10. And given the first blood, it's pretty even in this lane. Slightly favoring lanm even a little bit. In terms of the supports, both sides are getting their levels. They're getting what they need. Silent, really wish he had a little more experience. I would like to see him leech more, perhaps. It's really important to get the relocate up as soon as possible, and I think it's optimal. Ooh, there's a haste rune up on lanm. He could find an easy support kill or even a kill on Nature's Prophet. There's a lot of options for him here, and in fact, given that he knows fucking mad is nowhere nearby the bottom lane, he should know that it's a good chance he's in the eastern side of the jungle, and he is going to find him. This should be an easy kill, although his Vendetta fades. Actually, because he takes too long, the Vendetta fades just a second too early, and he's not able to get the Vendetta damage. So a lot of wasted time for lanm. His first gank of the game turns to naught, and it gives funzii a little bit more room in this mid lane. And his lack of presence in this mid lane is significant because Puck normally, well, there's a good example right there. The mana burn only gets better and better as Puck levels up, especially given how mana dependent funzii is. But also the spike carapace makes it so annoying for funzii to farm the waves. It depends on the waiting rift as well as the orb to burn through waves, and spike carapace makes it impossible to do that unless funzii wants to eat a lot of harass, and that's not viable. The one option for funzii that I haven't seen a lot of him doing is you can phase shift the spike carapace on your orb. It's a little hard to get the timing off, but it's possible. Oh, there's a call down used on fucking mad. It is going to catch him. But goblak is also here. He gets the illuminate off, and that will push the wave back for the time being. Now lanm, he's got his Vendetta up again. He'd love to find a kill here. And in fact, he's just going to find it on fucking mad. Although, he goes up the hill. He's not able to finish off fucking mad. It's going to be an overextension from lanm, although he does get the kill just before he goes down. And with the brain sap from Sag, he's able to pick up Keeper of the Light. But there's a return kill. It's a 2 for 2, probably favoring Quantic here, because this kill goes towards sockshka. And lanm diving for that kill, not ideal. This is a solo Nyx assassin, not a support. Giving up deaths like that, trades, it's not necessarily the best idea. Does get a kill on fucking mad, which is it's important. He doesn't have his Midas up yet. Delaying that Midas is actually it's not as big a deal as a Battle Fury on Anti-Mage or something, but it has the same effect where if you kill him before he gets it, then you've disproportionately slowed down his farm. Low appears to be going for a phase drums build as well as Aquila, so he wants his mid-game strength, and the auras will really help with his teamfight aggression. Although lanm
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
wants to use his Vendetta, but he gets spotted by the sentry ward from Quantic, at least for a moment. So lanm knows that he wants. He's being very aggressive, which I think as a solo mid Nyx assassin, very important to be doing. Cannot be sitting back and just farming waves. So he's keeping Quantic on their toes and forcing the purchase of sentries. Good use of phase shift there by funzii. I think he's gotten the timing down. Perhaps is not totally familiar with this matchup. That's one thing that I think we're going to see a lot of in TI3 is one of the ways that teams practice is by running certain matchups against each other. And I mean hero matchups in lane. And Puck versus Nyx Assassin, it's not super common, and it's unlikely that funzii has had a lot of practice against it. It's not the hardest matchup, so it doesn't need a lot of practice, but little things like the timing on the orb with the phase shift to dodge the spike carapace makes a big difference in your performance in the lane.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
And that's the sort of thing that requires repetition. Fucking Mad's really got to be careful here. lanm, he wants to go for the kill. In fact, the cooldown gets dropped, and it's going to completely whiff. A botch initiation here, but there's the relocate in. Oh, but the Ravage immediately onto sockshka as well as Io. Disruption, or Nightmare, so into the wow, this is all over the place. 2 kills immediately going the way of Quantic. That looked so good for RaTtLeSnAkE. Perfect positioning by Kabu, right on top of the relocate, immediately uses the Ravage when Quantic shows up. This could be 3 kills. funzii, he's got the mana. Oh, just one more right quick. Yes, it is going to be a 3 for none in favor of Quantic. So even with the Ravage, RaTtLeSnAkE was not able to make that fight go their way. Good illuminates from goblak, but I think it really comes down to the botch initiation from RaTtLeSnAkE. Oh, up at top, there's the reality rift under the tower. sockshka picks up another kill. But with that botch initiation from lanm, he got too aggressive. They wanted to go under the tower, but they should be keeping track of Io's levels at every second of the game. They need to know when that relocate is there, and they should really know that 11 minutes, a completely unimpeded Wisp is going to have level 6 by the time that you're trying to fight. Although sockshka, he's going to eat the call down, the impale, the vendetta, the whole kit and caboodle. He's going to go down no problem. So a valuable kill for RaTtLeSnAkE. Yeah, just to finish up talking about that fight, diving the tower. This is a tier 2. Tier 1 is one thing, but there's no further back you can go, especially with Keeper of the Light there. They knew goblak was there, and that illuminate hit on 2, and then the sprout into the illusory orb from funzii really hurt the supports quite a lot. So well played by Quantic. RaTtLeSnAkE almost making the Tidehunter work, but one of the things I like about it is that Ravage, it's 150-second cooldown, quite long, but that means you've basically got it up for every other relocate if relocate is being used every time, and it's not going to be. There's just simply not that many opportunities. So in a good number of these fights, Ravage is going to be available to counter-initiate. RaTtLeSnAkE is grouped up into the jungle here as 4. They may be able to find fucking Mad. They come around the corner. Yeah, they're going to find fucking Mad. He's going to go down, no problem. Easy kill. Easy life. Kabu actually picks up the kill there. There's a relocate in from sockshka and Silent. They're going straight onto low, and he's got a 4-second Chaos Bolt on top of him. It's an easy kill. There's another Ravage, however, and a Fiend's Grip onto Silent. So Silent goes down, but there's an Illuminate onto Kabu. This is going in the way. Well, yeah, it's tough to say. sockshka picks up 2 kills here, so it's really good for Quantic. But they do lose 3 in the end with the death of fucking Mad. And in fact, that's 3 kills for sockshka. Really good use of relocate. I think I would not have. Oh wow, 4 for none. lanm goes down, gets caught by the sprout and the teleport from fucking Mad. Wow. And Sag is actually stuck in the trees here. sockshka is totally aware of this. He's just waiting. It's going to be a complete team wipe. I don't know how Sag ended up here. Must have been the reality rift. So that's a 5 for 3 in favor of Quantic. Really good fight for them, but great use of the relocate. That's exactly how you want to be using it. To go in when you least expect it, because when you get a kill like that, you kill fucking Mad, and you've suddenly changed the fight to a 4v5, and you can, under normal circumstances, you have control of the jungle. But Quantic, realizing they can find a pick-off, they immediately go on Kabu. But even though he's able to get the Ravage off, they still take him down. And there's no way that RaTtLeSnAkE can stay in the fight, because they've just used the Vendetta on fucking Mad, and they've used up some of their initiation, and they're just caught off guard.
Top tower
so,
is under attack.
Great play by Quantic, and I think a sloppy disengage from RaTtLeSnAkE. I don't think there was a reason to give that many kills up, but I also don't think they were expecting the relocate. I think they felt like they had the advantage. So low, he's going straight for his BKB. He's actually not gone for the drums Aqua, which I think this is probably a wise adjustment. The BKB is necessary versus the Wisp Chaos Knight, as well as, I mean, there's a lot of forms of disable here on Quantic. The Silence, the Dream Coil, all over the place. Oh, it's just farming waves. Okay. So I think the BKB is a necessary adjustment for low. It's going to mean that he doesn't have nearly as much impact as he would like, but he also doesn't have a lot of choice. Now, Funzi's got an invis here, but there's only 2 here for Quantic. And fucking mad. He needs to sprout first. Oh no. He was not expecting lanm. If he had sprouted first, he might have been able to make it out of that. It would have been close. It is only a level 1 sprout, and so it doesn't finish before the end of teleport, but it would have given him a chance. Especially with good positioning. And that's one thing about sprout is that if you position off to the side, that makes it a little bit harder to predict where you are inside the sprout. Meaning that lanm couldn't just immediately stun through the center of it and be guaranteed to interrupt the teleport. But overextension, another kill going away to RaTtLeSnAkE. Blink Dagger is up on funzii. Very important tool for him in these fights. Sockshka has finished his BKB just now, so he's going to be a bear to take down in these fights. He's not worried about the call down anymore, which has been a big portion of the damage, as well, most importantly, the Ravage. Ravage is by far the biggest concern for him. Silent has finished his urn, which is a very important item for a Wisp to pick up. Fucking Mad's going for a team fight sort of build. Got the mechanism, should have that in just another 30 seconds or so. Kabu, he's got an urn. 900 gold on him. Curious to see what he builds next. Probably going to be Arcanes. Gotta have the mana to make sure that he can always Ravage. Mechanism up on Icy, as well as that Soul Ring. Got all the mana he needs. And that mech is pretty important for this team fight oriented lineup of RaTtLeSnAkE. BKB finished up on low. Pretty big deal for him. He's been eating a lot of Chaos Bolts in these fights. One concern I have is that the 10-second BKB is really what he needs. When it goes down in charges, it's going to be a lot less useful. Particularly because of how low cooldown the disable on Chaos Knight is. Reality Rift goes down to 6 seconds. Only 10 seconds on the Chaos Bolt. It's really powerful. Meaning if the fight lasts for any significant length of time, there's going to be a lot of stuns to avoid, and one BKB charge is just not enough. Blink Dagger is finished on lanm, which I think is a very important tool. He's been playing like he has one. So perhaps now, with that in hand, they can find some more favorable initiations. Haven't seen any relocates for the time being from Quantic. I think this is probably a good idea. RaTtLeSnAkE have been creating opportunities for relocate. Actually, they're grouped up and heading towards Roche, which they could very easily do. There's no current vision here for RaTtLeSnAkE. And they've got the treants to tank it. They don't have any medallions, so it'll go a little bit slowly. But I don't know that RaTtLeSnAkE is going to be able to challenge this. They're smoked up here. They're really hoping to find Quantic in the jungle. Can they get there in time? It's going to be very close. They should be aware at this point. They're not in the jungle. They must be at Roche. How soon can they get there? Lanham's Vendetta has a healthy chunk of time on it, but it looks like they're just not even going to bother. They're going to give up the Roche. And with an Aegis on Sockshka, that's going to be a strong relocate whenever it comes next. We'll also allow Quantic to group up and potentially take some towers. They're behind on towers at this point. RaTtLeSnAkE have managed to take down all the tier 1s, which is not that big a deal for Quantic. They don't necessarily lose a lot of map control because of this strong global... Oh, actually, they've got the mid-tier 1 still. But Quantic is not too worried about keeping their towers up because of how strong their global positioning is. They don't depend on them nearly as much, especially because they've also got the recall from goblak. They have a lot of ways of moving around this map, and they don't rely on their towers nearly as much as RaTtLeSnAkE does. But with the Aegis up, Quantic should be able to just start pushing down lanes, no problem. I imagine Fucking Mad's next item will be a sheepstick. Would make the most sense to me.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Mistimed spike carapace there from lanm. If he had landed that, he probably could have initiated on funzii. Just immediately blinked in and landed in Impale, and they should have had the damage to follow up. Quantic, they take the bottom tier 1, and they can do whatever they want. They can take over the jungle if they so desire. They can rotate up towards top, take that tower, push the bottom tier 2, whatever they want. I think they can take right now because they've got the better positioning. And I think RaTtLeSnAkE is much more afraid of them than Quantic is afraid of RaTtLeSnAkE. BKB is coming on funzii. I have to question this pickup. It's something of a necessity because of Nyx Assassin. He just can't keep eating all of the mana burns. Oh, there's a teleport in from low. Oh, actually, low. This could be a big problem. Defensive nightmare. He's gonna try and make it out, but no. One more right click from Fucking Mad, and he goes down. Terrible positioning from low is gonna cost him here, and Icy goes down as well. Ravage is used by Kabu, but there's no follow up here. This is a poor team fight for RaTtLeSnAkE. They're falling apart here quite fast. And Quantic, they can probably continue this push if they so desire. They can do whatever they want. Really poor movement here from RaTtLeSnAkE. They continue to underestimate the Chaos Knight. The teleport in from low, no matter how that played out, it was not going to turn out well. Immediately gets reality rifted and chaos bolted before he's able to pop his BKB, and then uses the BKB defensively, wastes a charge. The Ravage gets used to no avail. A good defensive nightmare from Vayne, which I keep trying to call a disruption. But I think RaTtLeSnAkE are now very definitively on the back foot here. I gotta change this to net worth. 7,500 gold in favor of Quantic, 12,000 experience, and this is not a game that you can fall behind in. When you're running a team fight lineup, if you're heavily behind in farm and levels, then you're putting yourself at a big risk. And these aren't, I wouldn't say that these are really heroes that can afford to be underfarmed. I'd say Tidehunter probably the most decent of their teamfight heroes without farm, but Darkseer, to have his impact, definitely needs to continue acquiring items. A full Fiend's Grip is never going to happen for SAG without a BKB. And of course, Gyrocopter needs to have that damage output. Oh no, over in mid. It's another relocate gank. lanm goes down, no trouble whatsoever. Things are looking really dark here for RaTtLeSnAkE. And a Necro Book pick up on Fucking Mad. Haven't seen this in a while on Nature's Prophet. Makes his pushing really good. There's an aura that's provided from the Necro Book minions. Increases attack speed. Really good for applying to all those treants as well as the rest of your heroes. And it's great for the heavy AoE that RaTtLeSnAkE has. It's going to be very hard for RaTtLeSnAkE to avoid killing these Necrobook minions, and that's a lot of pure damage that can be applied to whoever gets the killing blow, and whoever takes it is going to be a sad panda. The top two towers quickly going down in favor of Quantic. They still haven't used this Aegis, but they've made a lot of utility out of it regardless. Basically forcing RaTtLeSnAkE not to initiate here. Really giving up that Roshan is where things started to go very bad for RaTtLeSnAkE. They had to challenge that. Because they didn't have the vision and they didn't respond at all, whether because they didn't know or because they chose not to, it's hard to say. But I think they had to go in when the opportunity was there. Everyone grouped up at the Roche Pit. That's huge for RaTtLeSnAkE. They would have had a fantastic fight there. Big 5-man Ravage. Even with the BKB up on Sockshka, if you can land it on everybody else, it's still very useful. So I have to question the decision making here for RaTtLeSnAkE. Another BKB up on RaTtLeSnAkE. I don't know. I assume that's what it is. It could be Heaven's Halberd, could be SNY. It's not going to be those. It's going to be BKB. And I don't understand why you'd want that in Nyx Assassin. You don't need a BKB to have your impact in these fights. It just seems like he's really scared of the Chaos Knight, and if you get caught by Chaos Knight, you're going to die. A BKB is not going to change that. He's purely physical damage. Sockshka, he's got his Reaver up as well as drums. A lot of stats going for him. There's a solo kill up on the Keeper of the Light. A much needed kill. Oh no! There's the Dream Coil used on lanm. There's the relocate coming in from Sockshka. lanm's gonna go down here. That's not worth it. Getting a kill on Keeper of the Light and then feeding a kill to the team that's already ahead. It's just not worth it. Especially once more demonstrating the power of relocate. Sockshka and Silent, they were farming bottom. They just hop over to their own jungle, get that kill on lanm, head back to farming the enemy jungle. No trouble. And there's just so few places for RaTtLeSnAkE to be farming. 12,000 gold behind, 15,000 experience. It's just going to keep going that way unless they manage to get a big team fight. And Quantic, they're under no pressure to start fighting. They have total map control right now, and as long as they maintain that, they're going to have a pretty good time. They can just utterly outfarm RaTtLeSnAkE in every way and make sure that even if they do land the 5-man Ravage, the 5-man Call Down, the full duration Fiend's Grip, that it won't matter. No! RaTtLeSnAkE! It's another BKB coming up on RaTtLeSnAkE, and I don't think this is the right decision. There's tons of physical damage coming from Quantic. They're not purely dependent on their magical damage. I mean, it is a big problem to be chaos bolted, to be stuck inside the Dream Coil, to get hit with a Waning Rift and not have your spells to cast. But it's just providing nothing for these heroes. You can have an Aghanim Scepter, which is fantastic versus Chaos Knight. Be really strong. You can have a Blink Dagger for better initiation. You can have a Sheep Stick. You can have any number of things that provide your team with a lot more than what is ultimately a very selfish pickup in the BKB. It's definitely a necessity for low. Make no mistake about that. Oh, there's a Reality Rift onto lanm. Isn't quite able to get the chain stun. You know, I haven't taken a look at Low's build here. I just want to point out he has 2 in Rocket Barrage and 2 in Homing Missile. I have to really question not getting full Rocket Barrage. Rocket Barrage is a lot of DPS, and there's nothing else you're spending your mana on as Gyrocopter. Oh, nice 2-man Impale. Ravage onto 4. The BKBs have not been popped. There's a Call Down onto 3. It could be huge for RaTtLeSnAkE. But can they do it? Sockshka, he's got that heart. He's so tanky. Fucking mad. He's already gone down. But they just can't take down Sockshka. He's so tanky. They finally do it. It's a 2-for-1 in favor of RaTtLeSnAkE. RaTtLeSnAkE finally does it. Wow. It's going to be a 3-for-1 as they take down Silent. Quantic caught with their pants down, getting too over-aggressive there. A sloppy Reality Rift. It does end up being a 3-for-2 as funzii picks off Kabu. But great fight for RaTtLeSnAkE. That was exactly what they needed to do. They found the 5-man Ravage and the 4-man Call Down. Holy shit. But I think it was just over-aggression from Quantic. They forgot that they are playing up against a heavy 5-man lineup, and that if they eat all of those, especially before they pop their BKBs, that was the critical factor there. The BKB was not popped on Sockshka, and so he ate all of those stuns. And the positioning from Silent meant that he was eating all of those, was not able to provide the full power of Wisp in these fights with tether stuns, with overpower, and chose not to relocate out. I think because they really thought that they could pull it off. They would have been able to save themselves and perhaps turn the fight around if they'd used the relocate to go back to the base. So RaTtLeSnAkE delay their demise. Quantic heads straight back into the Roche pit, and there's no way that RaTtLeSnAkE can get here in time. The damage is just too fast, and I'm not even sure that they're aware that it's going on. So RaTtLeSnAkE, they buy themselves time, but with the Aegis up, I have to question whether RaTtLeSnAkE can pull this off again. Oh no, Sag. They know he's here. They've got the chase. He does have a haste rune, so he's going to be able to make it out thanks to having that. Now, Quantic will continue their push middle, and can RaTtLeSnAkE do it again? Ravage is up in 17 seconds, so they're going to have everything they need to make this work. Lanm is actually, he's got a Vendetta up. No, he's got his Invis. Can he kill Quantic, or kill fucking Mad on his own? Fucking Mad actually has a lot of stats. He does force a TP back, which is immediately cancelled from Quantic, so good decision making there by funzii. Doesn't get baited into the TP. But lanm doesn't ultimately make a lot happen for his time up there. Wastes a lot of his time, doesn't do anything to fucking Mad. So sockshka, he finished that heart. That's why he lasted so long in that fight. He was alive forever. One thing I also want to note is that sockshka has not gone for an armlet in this game. I kind of feel like maybe if he had an armlet in that fight, he would have found some kills. But nevertheless, I mean, heart is heart versus armlet. They're both amazing, so it's kind of splitting hairs. As a result of that fight, Low is able to finish his butterfly, so his damage output is pretty decent, and the evasion is going to help a lot versus sockshka. So many sources of auto attack damage now being evaded will help a lot. BKB is finished on Icy, so it will help him out. I still don't like the pickup. I don't think it's going to make the difference in that fight. One thing I want to point out is that the BKBs were not up for RaTtLeSnAkE in that fight. They didn't need them to pull off what they did. And I'm not sure what the source of passiveness is here for Quantic.
Regeneration.
They're not executing quite as much map control as they were before. So sitting back and farming feels a little riskier to me. They're maintaining their advantage. It's now a 15,000 gold lead, 15,000 experience lead. They can end it now if they wanted to. When you're up against a gyrocopter, I always feel it's a little bit risky to let him continue farming. If he ever picks up the Divine Rapier, then it's a big danger. Because that's more damage than almost anyone can eat. Sockshka can tank through that. It's not as much a worry for him, but it is a worry for his Wisp, and he really does need his Wisp to have full impact. Sag's still working towards his BKB. A Scythe of Ice picked up on fucking Mad. His presence in these fights just got a lot better, and he's a big problem for RaTtLeSnAkE. Who does RaTtLeSnAkE focus? They can't focus Sockshka. He has 3,000 health. They definitely need to focus Silent. They would love to focus funzii. He's got his own Scythe of Ice up, as well as his BKB, so he's not only hard to kill, but he's also just a huge danger in these fights. Focusing fucking Mad, that's hard. He's got a mechanism. I think Quantic can take these fights however they want. They aren't solely reliant on Sockshka to make these fights work. They're so out farming RaTtLeSnAkE right now. It's so dangerous. Ghost Scepter picked up on Kabu. I don't know. I kind of feel like a Blink Dagger is a necessity for this team that's so reliant on Ravage. That said, they didn't need it in the last fight, so maybe they can do it again. But that was more Quantic's mistake than it was a play from RaTtLeSnAkE, is how I would put it. There's a late armlet picked up on Sockshka. He just wants cheap damage. It does seem like the Quantic wants to group together and start pushing before the Aegis gets used up. There's about 2 minutes left on that before it gets expired. RaTtLeSnAkE are nervous. They're grouped up inside their base. They're waiting for what's going to happen. Goblak, in fact, doing some split pushing. No one to club up on him. Is this going to be another one of those games where everybody has a BKB? Because I think it is. Goblak has to be careful. He's eating the double ion shell damage. which is not a great thing. They need him for these fights. They don't want to be fighting 4v5, so being completely on his own. Oh, but there's an urn up here on silent, so they'll be able to bring him back up. Still, can't be sloppy like that. One of the nice things about getting the armlet after the heart is that you can just turn the armlet on and never turn it off again, if you so desire. It looks like Quantic is just going to start the split push here. They've got funzii and fucking mad down at bottom, and the other three up at top, pushing in. And really, RaTtLeSnAkE only has one hero that's decent at anti-push, and that's low. Darkseer does okay, but depends on the creeps he puts the Ion Shell on to keep the push going out. So he's not too fantastic at it. Anchor Smash is a moderately okay tool. Oh no, goblak. This is exactly what Quantic can't do. Goblak sticks around too long for no apparent. Okay, it's gonna be. Thank God it's not a BKB. It's a Heaven's Halberd. Good choice. But goblak gives up a kill for no reason. Really passive play from Quantic here. I mean, they're still exerting complete map control, so this isn't, you know, it's not like they have a timer ticking here. But I think it's getting a little excessive at this point, and the longer you wait, the more time you give for a Divine Rapier up on that gyrocopter. Now, I have never seen a Chinese team pick up Divine Rapier on gyrocopter. In fact, he opts to pick up a Helm on the Dominator, which I think it's a pretty good idea. It's another cheap, cost-effective item, increases its survivability, and will help quite a lot. Oh no. Sockshka and Silent here. Oh, Silent. He's gonna go down. Unless he can get this. Yeah, he gets the tether off. This is the problem going on Io. He's just so hard to kill. They can't stay on top of him. And now this is the fight that Quantic would love to take. There's gonna be a teleport in from fucking Mad. The Phantasm is popped by Sockshka. He takes down Sog immediately in this fight. The wall is dropped by Darkseer. The Ravage is used immediately after the BKB ends on Sockshka. Kabu, who's in the center of things, pops the Ghost Scepter, keeps him alive for the time being, but there's a Dream Coil onto 3. It's 2 down, 3 down on Rat, 4 down, Cripple Quill, triple kill for the Io. Way over aggressive from RaTtLeSnAkE. No reason to keep chasing that. They really should have stopped the chase as soon as the tether landed from Silent. He got away fair and square. Oh no, there's another relocate? Oh, they're just going back to the base to heal. Good use of relocate. So, way over aggressive from RaTtLeSnAkE, and I think that's going to spell their doom here. As soon as one ranks goes down versus a Nature's Prophet with Necronomicon, then that's it. Oh no, low. He doesn't have his BKB. It's on cooldown. Good Nightmare will keep Sockshka off his tail for the time being, but low will go down. Immediate buyback. But I don't think that they can stop Quantic at this point. They're just so tanky. But Quantic may just choose to back off. I hope not. Kabu, he pops the Ghost Scepter, which is going to delay the initiation. Wow, all the BKBs getting popped. The Fiend Script used onto funzii. Funzii goes down. Icy is in the middle of things. He goes down to a few more right clicks from Sockshka. Fucking Mad. Wow, this is total chaos. It's going in favor of RaTtLeSnAkE. A buyback from Icy immediately. Wants to get back in the fight, but it's just not going to happen. lanm goes down. Like, should be taking the base. In fact, they're going to dive this as much as they want. Kabu goes down. The GG gets called from RaTtLeSnAkE. 39 minutes into the game, 17-28. It's a great game for Quantic. They played the Wisp Chaos Knight perfectly. They probably could have ended it about 10 minutes sooner if they so desired. But RaTtLeSnAkE, I don't think they played their 5-man correctly. They got way over aggressive there. As soon as Io got away, they had to back off. But they got greedy. It's been a long time since they got a kill, and they knew that if they killed the Io, that they would have a decent chance of having some map control. But because they overextend, they give up yet another team fight. And honestly, the only team fight that RaTtLeSnAkE took was more due to Quantic's bad positioning. There was just no reason for Quantic to give up a 5-man Ravage and a 4-man call down, which is exactly what RaTtLeSnAkE needed. Given that, RaTtLeSnAkE can't give up the Wisp. It's yet another example of there were so many good examples of Wisp doing so much for Quantic in that game. I think there were 2 critical points. One was when lanm picked off fucking Mad in the Dire jungle. RaTtLeSnAkE stuck around for just a brief second, providing the opportunity for the relocate from Quantic, and they weren't expecting it. It ended up turning into a full team wipe, extended over a long period of time, wasn't all at once, but nevertheless, all 5 heroes going down. And the relocate just, they found a handful of great pickoffs, particularly on lanm. I believe they got two solo relocate pickoffs on him. And there were at least 2 big team fights that got turned around because of the relocate. There was a fight in the Dire jungle, and then there was the fight down at the bottom tier 2 where lanm got over aggressive, and that was right when Silent had just hit 6. So RaTtLeSnAkE got caught with their pants down there with a bad initiation. The call down whiffed. No Vendetta or Impale from lanm, allowing RaTtLeSnAkE for Quantic to just completely take that fight, no trouble whatsoever. There were a lot of trades, and I loved the Tidehunter pickup. There were a lot of great Ravages, and I think it did a lot of work. I don't like the itemization. I don't like the BKB on Darkseer. And I don't know what the Force Staff plus Ogre Club pickup was going to be on lanm. I don't think either of those were particularly desirable. If I hate to say that someone should have picked up a Dagon, but if he'd had a Dagon, like, consider at the end there where RaTtLeSnAkE got baited out too far. If he had a Dagon, he could have just killed Silent outright, no trouble. Orchid, another really valuable pickup that they could have gone for. Now, there were 3 BKBs on Quantic, but that's okay. I mean, you can't itemize against a BKB, except to build more physical damage or not go all in on a stun. It's more, BKBs change behavior, not items in general.